As South Africa faces mounting economic pressure from newly imposed U.S. trade tariffs, the ANC's National Executive Committee has thrown its support behind Parks Tau, signaling a critical power shift and a renewed focus on technocratic leadership. With key industries under threat and the global stage growing more hostile, Tau's rise is more than political, it's strategic. The ANC is betting on experience and expertise to navigate the country through what many are calling an economic standoff. This is not just about trade, it's about national resilience, sovereignty, and survival. In a week of rising economic tension and urgent diplomatic recalibrations, the African National Congress's National Executive Committee has thrown its political weight behind Parks Tau, signaling a strategic move by the ruling party to stabilize government footing and confront the economic headwinds caused by the United States' newly implemented trade tariffs on South African exports. As geopolitical pressures mount and global markets shift, the ANC appears determined not only to preserve internal unity but to position Tau as a trusted technocrat who can navigate the rough waters ahead with political finesse. Parks Tau's re-emergence onto center stage comes at a time when the government is facing mounting pressure to respond to what some economists are calling a silent economic siege. The United States, citing national interest concerns and global supply chain shifts, has imposed a fresh wave of tariffs disproportionately affecting key South African industries, metals, agriculture, and manufactured goods. Though framed diplomatically, the tariffs have been received in Pretoria as a direct hit to South Africa's already fragile recovery efforts. Analysts warn the ripple effects could stall growth targets, trigger job losses, and dent investor confidence. It's no surprise that the ANC's NEC has been meeting behind closed doors for strategy sessions. Tau, a seasoned administrator and longtime party loyalist, is seen within the NEC as a stabilizing force, an individual whose technocratic capabilities match the moment's urgency. The NEC's public endorsement of Tau wasn't merely political, it was a deliberate signal to international partners, business leaders, and citizens that the ANC is serious about countering the threat with substance. While opposition parties dismiss the endorsement as cadre deployment, those in Luthuli House understand the moment demands more than rhetoric. It demands action. And Tau, with years of experience in economic portfolios and governance, has been tapped as the man for the job. Behind the official statement lies a more calculated play, repositioning Tau as a central figure not just in the ANC, but within government structures as part of a broader economic war room. Sources suggest Tau is being groomed for a key role in the state's strategic response, possibly even fast-tracked for a direct advisory position to the presidency. The move would place him at the intersection of party politics and economic strategy, where loyalty meets urgency. This isn't just about tariffs, it's about setting the tone for South Africa's economic future. The tariffs, although not unprecedented, mark a shift in US-South Africa relations. Washington's messaging, laced with diplomacy, points to security concerns and global trade adjustments, but Pretoria isn't buying it. Officials within DIRCO are reportedly fuming at the lack of prior consultation, viewing it as an ambush by a supposed ally. Yet, amidst this strain, the government is walking a diplomatic tightrope, avoiding escalation while defending economic sovereignty. This is where Tau's appeal becomes more pronounced. He represents a fusion of ANC loyalty and technical competence, a bridge between party imperatives and fiscal realities. In turbulent times, the ANC cannot afford internal division. By rallying around Tau, the NEC isn't just backing a man, it's backing a message of unity and seriousness. The local implications are already emerging. Port operations have slowed in anticipation of lower export volumes. Sectors are scaling back. The Johannesburg Stock Exchange reacted nervously. Consumer confidence, already battered by inflation and unemployment, is taking yet another hit. South Africa faces a lived crisis with real consequences. Yet, the crisis has triggered resilience. Government departments are drafting countermeasures. DIRCO is mobilizing a diplomatic blitz in Washington, Brussels, and Beijing to build solidarity against what is seen as unilateral US aggression. Inside Parliament, Treasury is exploring tools to soften the blow: tariff relief, accelerated tax rebates, and even counter-tariffs. Tao's name continues to surface in these meetings, not for speeches, but for his ability to implement policy. It's a skill urgently needed as the clock ticks. International observers are watching closely. The US tariffs come amidst criticism of South Africa's global positioning, its role in BRICS, its Ukraine stance, and growing ties with China and Russia. Washington's move may be as much about signaling as it is about trade. That raises the bigger question: how does a middle power nation assert its economic independence while preserving diplomatic flexibility? President Cyril Ramaphosa has remained publicly calm but is privately said to be livid about Washington's move. He's instructed his teams to respond firmly but wisely, with insiders describing a strategy aimed at a calibrated escalation. Tao's elevation may be the first step in that, a sign that Ramaphosa is surrounding himself with doers, not just loyalists. On the streets, though, the tariff news may feel distant to average South Africans struggling to keep the lights on. Eskom's grid, inflation, and youth unemployment are more pressing than geopolitics. But that's precisely why the ANC's support for Tao matters. It's an attempt to bridge macro policy with everyday struggles, to match global strategy with local relevance. Within the ANC, Tao's rise is also shaking internal dynamics. Those in the RET faction are reportedly wary, fearing a return to technocratic dominance over populist rhetoric. Yet, even skeptics acknowledge now isn't the time for factionalism. With elections approaching and ANC credibility in question, unity around competence may be the party's last bet. Political optics matter too. Tao's clean image, record in city governance, and low scandal profile make him a strong public face for the ANC in an era of deep mistrust. If the strategy succeeds, we may be witnessing more than an endorsement, it may be the grooming of a future national leader. Some whisper he's being shaped for higher office. Whether that proves true or not, one thing is clear: Parks Tao is no longer in the shadows. He is now central to the ANC's recalibration. As global headlines cover the tariff fallout, South Africa's response may become a defining chapter of its own. Will it fold, retaliate, or recalibrate? Can its fragile economy withstand the shock while managing political transformation? And will the ANC's bet on Tao pay off, or backfire? The coming weeks will provide answers. But for now, the move is bold, calculated, and undeniably high stakes. And as always in South African politics, the real story unfolds not in speeches, but in the backrooms, cables, and war rooms where policy becomes power.